The phone call lasted less than 3 minutes. But it destroyed my career, my financial stability, and almost my sanity. My boss called me into her office with a strange look on her face and asked one question. "Did you call me the N-word?" I remember freezing. My hands went cold. My chest tightened like someone had wrapped a rope around my ribs. Because I knew exactly who had done this. My husband. The man who was supposed to protect me, had just tried to ruin my life. And the worst part? We weren't even separated. We had a newborn baby at home. And I was the only one working. But what he didn't realize was that ruining my job would end up costing him everything. When people imagine toxic relationships, they think of screaming matches or broken dishes. My marriage looked nothing like that on the surface. From the outside, we looked normal. Young couple. New baby. Small apartment. Regular struggles. But inside that apartment, something was slowly rotting. My husband had always been insecure. At first it seemed harmless. He'd ask who I was texting. He'd ask who was at work. He'd ask what time I'd be home. Then it escalated. "Are there men at your job? Do they talk to you? Do you laugh with them?" At first I thought it was just anxiety. Then it became control. We had just had our baby a few months earlier. I was exhausted all the time. Running on broken sleep and cold coffee. But I went back to work because we needed money. Actually, that's not even true. I went back to work because I was the only one making money. He didn't have a job. He had plans. Business ideas. Dreams. Excuses. Meanwhile, rent was due. Diapers weren't free. Formula wasn't free. Electricity definitely wasn't free. So every morning I'd get up after maybe 3 hours of sleep. Feed the baby. Get dressed. And go to work. While he stayed home. At first he pretended to support me. But slowly, the comments started. "You don't need to work. A mother should be home. I don't like you being around other men." I laughed the first time. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. One night he said something that made my stomach drop. "If you loved me, you'd quit your job." I stared at him. "How would we live?" He shrugged. "We'll figure it out." But we all know what that meant. I would figure it out. Like always. The tension kept growing. Every day felt heavier than the last. I'd come home tired and he'd be waiting. Questions. Accusations. Suspicion. Even though I'd done nothing wrong. Then came the phone call. I was at work when my manager told me she needed to talk. Her voice sounded strange. Too careful. Too measured. My stomach twisted immediately. I followed her into the office. She closed the door. Sat down. Then looked straight at me. And said, "We received a phone call about you." My heart started pounding. "What kind of phone call?" She hesitated. Then said it. "Someone said you called me the N-word." Everything inside me went silent. Like the air had been sucked out of the room. I couldn't even process it. What? My voice sounded like it belonged to someone else. She explained that a man had called claiming to be concerned. Said I used racist language. Said I was disrespectful. Said I shouldn't be working there. And I knew. Immediately. There was only one person who would do this. My husband. I felt sick. Actually physically sick. Like I might throw up right there in the office. "I would never say that," I said. And I meant it. Not just at work. Ever. In my entire life. My boss believed me. I could see it in her face. She even said, "Honestly, this sounds personal." But that didn't save me. Because then she said the words that changed everything. This situation is becoming complicated and disruptive. I already knew what was coming. We think it's best to let you go. Just like that. My job was gone. Not because I did anything wrong. Not because they believed him. But because I had become too much trouble. I drove home shaking. My hands barely steady on the wheel. I kept thinking about rent. Bills. Diapers. Formula. How were we going to survive? When I got home, he was sitting on the couch. Relaxed. Watching TV. Like nothing had happened. I walked in. Still shaking. And asked, "Did you call my job?" He didn't even deny it. He smirked. Actually smirked. "Maybe now you'll stay home where you belong." Something inside me broke in that moment. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just quietly. Like a thread snapping. I realized something terrifying. This man was willing to destroy our financial stability. With a newborn baby. Just to control me. That night I barely slept. I lay awake staring at the ceiling. Listening to the baby breathing in the crib. And I understood something clearly for the first time. I wasn't safe with him. Not physically. Not emotionally. Not financially. That was the turning point. The moment everything changed. I stopped trying to fix the marriage. Stopped arguing. Stopped explaining. Stopped hoping. Instead, I started planning. First step. Documentation. I saved texts. Screenshots. Voicemails. Everything. Every jealous accusation. Every controlling message. Every threat. I saved it all. Quietly. Carefully. Second step. Getting another job. Which was harder than I expected. Because suddenly I had to explain why I left my previous one. Without sounding like a walking disaster. Meanwhile, he thought he had one. He got exactly what he wanted. Me stuck at home. Dependent. Isolated. But what he didn't realize was that every day, I was getting closer to leaving. Eventually I landed a new job. Better pay. Better environment. And this time, I told no one where I worked. Not even him. I started saving money secretly. Small amounts. Quietly. Carefully. Every paycheck. Then one afternoon, everything finally came together. I packed a bag. Packed the baby's things. Loaded the car. And left. No warning. No argument. No drama. When he realized what happened, he exploded. Phone calls. Voicemails. Messages. Threats. Begging. Crying. Rage. Everything. But this time, I had evidence. All of it. Including proof he sabotaged my job. The divorce was brutal for him. Because the court saw everything. The harassment. The manipulation. The financial sabotage. And the judge was not impressed. Not even a little. The moment of justice came during the divorce hearings. When his own actions were read out loud. The phone call. The lies. The messages. All of it. In a quiet courtroom. Where everyone could hear. His face went pale. Then red. Then pale again. Because for the first time, he couldn't twist the story. Couldn't manipulate. Couldn't control anything. He lost. Big. I got custody. Financial support. And freedom. Meanwhile, he still didn't have a job. Still didn't have a plan. still didn't have control. The man who tried to make me helpless ended up helpless himself. Sometimes the most dangerous person in your life is the one who claims to love you. Losing that job felt like the end of the world. But looking back, it was the beginning of my freedom. If this story shocked you, hit like and tell me in the comments. What would you have done if your partner sabotaged your job? And if you love powerful real-life stories like this, subscribe to Story X Daily for more unbelievable stories every week.